We're talking about some shadowy figures today.
We are. But before we do, we actually have to go take a little trip over to Utah.
The shadowiest state.
To check in on one of our most...
Because of its very tall mountains.
I don't even know what most malleable figures that we've discussed in this podcast.
It's malleable in like a physically soft way.
Yes, but also a man of many identities, a man of many pseudonyms, a man of many religions.
A shifter.
A skinwalker. That is Nicholas Rossi, a.k.a. Nicholas Alaverdian, a.k.a. Arthur Knight.
Wait, I mean, you know what I'm going to say.
Do you want me to do it from memory?
Brace.
Okay.
Our listeners are numerous and have poor memories.
Yes.
Because they listen to podcasts. And here's the thing. You don't retain anything from that.
It's kind of like meth where it just destroys your brain for a while.
Yeah, in one ear, out the other. And so many of them may not be aware of our Utah series, which was many parts. In fact, we had a 2-taw and a 3-taw in there. Brace is standing up and doing air punches. Shadow boxing to get ready for this because he knows what I'm going to ask, which is, Brace, can you, from memory, no notes, recap what it is we're talking about when we're talking Utah, 2-taw, and 3-taw here?
Yes, I can. Several years ago.
Sorry, this gets me every time.
Utah County Sheriff's Department. Actually, no. That's wrong order of events already. But I didn't finish the sentence, so I'm not wrong.
No, it's my fault. I interrupted.
Several years ago, the DA of Utah County, I think it's called, it's Utah County,
yes.
Salt Lake City, comes out and makes a bizarre statement to the press. In fact, in a press conference, where he says, in a few days, you might hear some troubling information about me. Some things might come out, some words might be said, some allegations might be made that may cause a lot of questions. There are allegations of ritual child sex abuse that are going to be made, lurid tales of cannibalism,
yes,
witchcraft, etc.
That etc., encapsulates a lot too.
A whole lot.
Covers a lot there. Now that man's name,
David Levitt.
So we've got David Levitt.
Now, David Levitt, let me just back up even further here. David Levitt is from a storied Mormon family.
Yes.
Longtime civil servant. I think it was his brother was the governor at one point, also in the Bush administration.
Yeah, H.W.
H.W. Traveled all around the world, including...
Wait, no, George W.
Just regular W.
Yes,
yeah.
My bad. I meant to say that, and then what came out was H.
George horny white man Bush. But had a lot of dealings with Ukrainian, the government of Ukraine.
The Ukrainians.
The Ukrainians had a lot of dealings with Ukrainians. Tried to broker a deal between a Native American, as they call it in Canada, First Nations tribe, and the Ukrainian government to trade a bunch of buffalo to Ukraine in order for David Levitt to get a baby to adopt. He's a Mormon. Long story there.
It's not good either.
It's not a good story. But David Levitt is the DA.
Yes. And he comes out and he's like, ignore allegations when they come out.
But he not only says that the sheriff's department is out to get him, but he also names a guy that he's trying to extradite from the UK named Nicholas Rossi, a.k.a. Nicholas Alaverdian, a.k.a. Arthur Knight.
And the AKAs are because this very man has multiple aliases, which he's had over the years, because he is wanted in multiple states for rape, I believe assault, and some weird stuff with the Rhode Island
legislature,
which is too complicated. You got to listen to that episode.
There's another character in this named David Hamblin, who is a therapist.
That's the second David.
The second David, who is friends with David Levitt from way back in the day. He was a Mormon therapist turned Native American churchman, not Native American notably. In fact, very much a white man, who was conducting psychedelic ceremonies, which often turned into molestation sessions. And it's true, who has been credibly accused, and in fact now convicted, or maybe he's awaiting trial, whatever, I can't remember. It's been a long day. Sitting in jail along with his wife in Utah County.
Yes.
That's too much to get into. But the important thing is that David Levitt names Nicholas Rossi as the person who's sort of like working with the sheriff's department to to include David Levitt in the David Hamblin allegations.
And yes, during the recording of our Utah, Tutah, Three-Tah series, Brace had contact with Nicholas Rossi, a.k.a. Nicholas Alaverdian, a.k.a. Arthur Knight.
So Nicholas Alaverdian, a.k.a. Nicholas Rossi, a.k.a. Arthur Knight, had convicted of sexual assault, not doing well in the States. Everyone's really mad at him in various parts of society and the law. Fakes his own death somewhat successfully.
Which is weird because it's very poorly done.
It's really poorly done, but I don't think anyone really cared that much. And I think a lot of people were like, I hope he's dead.
Yeah.
He disappeared. And
he's on the lam.
In his ghostly wake emerges a rather porcine figure, sort of trundling about Scotland, by the name of a man by the name of Arthur Knight, who I believe claims to be a professor of theology, perhaps. Arthur Knight, contra Nicholas Rossi, is rather large, speaks with a classic little British accent. And claims to have absolutely no idea who this chap Nicholas Rossi is. Arthur Knight gets married, but he gets COVID.
Yes. And he ends up in hospital.
In hospital. And through this process, they discover that there is no Arthur Knight and that he is, in fact, just Nicholas Rossi.
That he continued to deny until he was just literally extradited.
Yes. In fact, he continued to deny it up until about a week ago.
Yeah.
Or like a few weeks ago.
Just to make matters more fun, David Levitt, the first David, the one who said, ignore the press conference about the witchcraft and wizardry and cannibalism and Buffalo Exchange.
Hogwartsian activity. Well, David Levitt's not British. I shouldn't confuse things.
No. So David Levitt ends up in Scotland himself. Now a castle renovation TikTok influencer.
Yes, because he lost his re-election to DA of Utah County, in part because of these scandalous allegations made by Arthur Knight, who, by the way, contacted me over a week-long period, as did his wife, which I think was also just him, although she does exist, to proclaim his innocence and say that he is not at all Nicholas Rossi.
Yes, via his website, Zeus News.
Zeus News.
Welcome to Zeus News.
As much fun as I made of this entire thing, it was a real great one.
It was a great one, yeah. I know. We'll never get the recognition it deserves because you know what? There's too many Davids in the story. No one can understand what it's about. There's too many Davids.
If you want to have a conspiracy or anything kind of like criminal activity, immediately all of your goons need to have the same name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just, we made a stylistic decision that was wrong. We should have just only called them by their last names.
I kind of like that we confused ourselves along with the listeners as we were doing it. I think it's charming.
Yeah, it's tough. So Arthur Knight comes to court and is in fact later jailed in the UK, dressed in a smoking jacket, or like sometimes a robe, an ascot, wearing these little round glasses, and then later sporting a yarmulke because he converted to Judaism while in jail.
Which you don't hear about very often.
You don't. You really don't.
I just got to say.
It was a lightning quick conversion, too.
Yeah, which also is very, usually it takes at least three attempts.
Yeah, well, he had an expedited process. So it turns out that he is Nicholas Rossi, and this is something I should have mentioned earlier. David Levitt, by the way, was trying to extradite him to Utah to face 2 counts of rape, stemming from 2 incidents that took place in 2008.
Yeah,
this extradition goes through even after David Levitt gets out. So Nicholas,
classic new DA move.
Exactly. We'll bring him October surprise. Brings him over. He is still claiming that he is Arthur Knight, and in fact, in court, sometimes they would be like here, the judge was trying to be like, listen, we legally cannot call you Arthur Knight. I can address you in court. Is that like was trying to do him a solid? Like, I will call you Arthur Knight in court, but like when we talk about your case in like legal terms, like you're Nicholas Ross. That's your name. That is who you are. And he would bang on the table and go, no, Arthur Knight. I don't know who this Nicholas is. All some terrible mistake. much to the annoyance of the judge.
Now, he also, much to the, I'm going to be honest, sheer ecstasy of the three people in this room,
The delight!
announced that he would represent himself.
Bro, say!
And you know, obviously immediately Bray said, well, we got to go to Utah.
Gotta go to Utah.
Yeah, maybe we got to Forta out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he has now, on advice from basically probably everyone, including the judge, being like, we shall not have a mistrial because I cannot see your funky ass face in this courtroom again.
Yes, yes.
Has decided to go with a public defender.
That public defender's first piece of advice that we have seen manifest itself publicly has been for Arthur Knight to die.
What?
Arthur Knight is dead. Now there is only Nicholas
I
Rossi.
I see.
Because,
I see where you are with that.
because his court-appointed attorney has said that they will no longer argue with the fact that he is, in fact, indeed Nicholas Rossi.
Do you guys see what we did there? If you don't, and you know what? I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure I do either. You should listen to our Utah series because it's a real joy.
The trial starts on October 17th, and I have a feeling that Nicholas Rossi has one or two more tricks left up his sleeve.
I mean, I hope so.
The game is afoot.
Yeah, I think that there's basically no way he doesn't. All he has is tricks in
And
his
all he
sleeve.
has is sleeves.
Yeah, he's got massive. I think that they have taken his robe from them. That perhaps was the official British prison outfit that he was wearing. In fact, it may have
It
not.
was a kind of like Oxfordian Hefner look.
Yes, yeah. Robe in a wheelchair is crazy. That's really good.
Yeah.
Because your shit can just be fucking dangling.
Yeah. Well, it's as much a threat as it is a style choice.
He's been derobed.